again, gentle readers. Today, this is an experiment. This is just an experiment again. This is not the real thing. This is just me playing around to see whether it works. Does it work? I don't know. If you turn up on the stream, which I see none of you have, but that's okay. Ooh, yeah. If you turn up on the stream, which none of you have, but you will, hopefully, say hello. I'm going to be reading you another story. Of course, you might be listening on the watch again thing. I don't know what's it called. Anyway, story. This story is from My Word, which is a British radio series from the 1970s and 1980s, in which the two panelists, Frank Muir and Dennis Norden, were challenged to make a story where the last line of the story was a particular phrase, but it didn't have to be exactly that phrase. It was supposed to be a pun on that phrase. Does that make sense? Hello, Kit. I can see you're watching. You're also on the other side of the room, but hey! Okay. Hello, people. I want more people. But just having Kit is wonderful. That's enough for me.
I keep sending hearts.
I see. They are bouncing up my screen. Many hearts. Heart with a heart. Somebody must love me very much. So.
They do.
Okay.
I can see a spider.
Yes, that is the spider called 50. Because he is 50% one colour and 50% the other colour. I think that's why.
Yes.
Good. Anyway, so here's the story. As I say, this is a story by Frank Muir. And as I say, they were given a phrase to work towards, and the last line of the story had to be a pun on that phrase. And this phrase, this story, is working towards the phrase, hello, hello, who's your lady friend? Which is the title of a musical song. Now, I should also mention that Frank Muir lived in Thorpe in Surrey, which is very near Chertsey, where I used to live, where we used to live. So those of you from Chertsey or Egham or Addlestone or even Staines might recognise some local references. So we, the duly and democratically elected officers of the Thorpe Players Amateur Dramatic Society, tickets available at the door or from Nellie at the Thorpe Village shop, are not easily panicked. We like to think, and audiences who missed the last bus home tend to agree with us, that we act slowly. We tend to weigh the pros and cons carefully before agreeing to do nothing, rather than rush precipitously into action. Hello, Tangerine Cat. I refer you to the crisis of 1963. See the files of Staines and Egham News for full reportage. When, at the annual general meeting, a splinter group endeavoured to outvote the committee and accept the merger bid from the Egham Thespians. It was a nasty moment for us traditionalists. There's a cat here. Tess? I don't know if you... Tess? No? Okay. Anyway, it was a nasty moment for us traditionalists. Egham Thespians had a reputation for going in for somewhat racier productions than was our wont. Their staging of Getting Gertie's Garter caused many an Egham eyebrow to uplift, I can tell you. And the splinter group outnumbered us by 5-4. It was an unusually high turnout for an AGM. What you can't see is that Tess is, oh, there we go, is right here listening to the story. So anyway, but we did not panic. Just before the vote, my vice chairperson and prompter, Mrs. Spink, rose to her feet and quietly reminded the meeting of the dramatic traditions which we had always cherished in the players. After 45 minutes of this, I noticed that two of the splinter group, the old Dinwiddie brothers, were fast asleep. So I quickly called a vote, and we staved off the threat by 4 votes to 3. No, panic does not come easily to us fathers of Thorpe players. But it came one Black Thursday, just 3 days before the opening of our most ambitious production to date, a full musical comedy adapted by me from a work by Sandy Wilson. Most dramatic societies consist mainly of women, and their problem is how to cast the importance of being earnest with 42 Fs to select from, but only 2 Ms. The Ms consisting usually of a retired civil servant with an inaudible voice and no memory, and an enthusiastic youth 6'7" in height with terminal acne. Our problem was the other way round. We had plenty of men, but only one woman. This unusual circumstance came about when work began on the motorway near Thorpe, and the village filled with sturdy, rather playful construction workers. For some reason, the girls in our society seemed to prefer their society to ours. The one lady we have, our leading and only lady, Miss Tozer, is so ample of build and homely of countenance that she has not as yet been offered temptation. Ah, that's what he thinks. Finding it impossible to locate a play with a cast of 14M, 1F, I decided to adapt Mr. Wilson's music, The Boyfriend. I twisted the story around so that it was not about a party of schoolgirls, but rather of schoolboys. They go on an outing to Guildford, and all fall in love with an adorable little French au pair girl, Antoinette, played by Miss Tozer. The songs adapted quite well. Sur la plage became On the Towpath. A room in Bloomsbury became A tent at Penton Hook, etc. The title had to be changed from The Boyfriend, of course. I originally considered calling it The Girlfriend, but I eventually decided on The Lady Friend as being more suitable for our audiences, some of whom come from Virginia Water and the superior end of Egham Hythe. Rehearsals seemed to go swimmingly. Miss Tozer's frame may have been vast, but as is... Enough with the fat jokes, Muir. Miss Tozer's frame may have been vast, but as so often as is the case with enormous ladies, her voice was a high, light soprano, and she was in fine condition. Mr. Haddock, the organist, managed to repair the bellows of the harmonium with a bicycle puncher outfit, and the musical accompaniment was strong and rich. We gaily bought a new bulb for our footlight. Then, on the Thursday before our opening on the Monday, Mr. Haddock turned up at my house, his face a mask of woe. "Out with it, Haddock," I said instantly. "What has happened, man?" Mutely he swung on his heel. I followed him out of the gate and along Cold Harbour Lane towards our theatre, Thorpe Village Hall, originally a medieval tithe barn, good brickwork, but not as interesting as the church, which is partly Saxon, with fine modern stained-glass windows. Entering the hall, he flung out an arm and pointed towards where, below the stage, stood the harmonium. "Great heavens!" I breathed. The right-hand side of the keyboard had disappeared. From middle C leftwards all was well, but above middle C there was nothing. It was horrible, horrible, like the grin of somebody who has had half his teeth removed. I was looking at a harmonium capable of accompanying bass singers and light baritones, but not tenors or sopranos. "And we open Monday," he said, with a terrible calmness. "Who could have done this? Why? Why?" I comforted him as best I could. "We of the governing body of the Thorpe players do not yield easily to panic," I said. "It is clear that we must replace Miss Tozer with a lady baritone. And pretty damn chop chop. Let us to work. Hang on. Thorpe Village Ladies turned out to be a nest of singing birds, all of them sopranos. Few of them could get as low as middle C, let alone sing I Could Be Happy With You completely below it. Mrs. Hayes made a valiant effort, but only succeeded in bursting a mercifully non-essential button on her blouse. Like most police work, it had demanded dogged patience, rhinoceros. Late Friday afternoon, I found myself addressing our last hope of finding a barracking lady, Mrs. Knight, of the fish shop. Nora, I said thickly, my eyes red with fatigue, I need a special type of woman on Monday night. How low can you get? Looking back on it, I am only glad that the fish shop was in Virginia water, and I was slapped on the face with the side of smoked salmon rather than a kipper. It was a morose organist indeed who accompanied me on a sad stroll through the village on Saturday morning, all hope seemingly lost. Are all Thorpe voices high? I queried petulantly. Are there no low? Is there not one low? At that moment, we hove in sight of the allotments, those patches of ground on which a gracious urban district council allows grateful ratepayers to grow leeks and potatoes, and so forth, at a nominal rental. Look! Shouted Mr. Haddock suddenly, grabbing my arm and then breaking for the first time since I had known him into swear words. Great handle! Our most illustrious emigrant! Following the line of his quivering finger, I saw merely rows of lettuces and carrots and beans, each with a neat white label at its base. My bloody harmonium keys! And so it transpired. A tall, lean figure straightened up from weeding, and in a melodious bass baritone voice explained all. He was Hugh Fimbo, a well-known local part-time gardener and full-time lover of ale. They be my plant labels, he said. I done found 'em in a village hall on Thursday afternoon on an old harmonium. Nobody was using the said instrument, so I took away the few of the keys. Lovely they be for plant labels. Shove the wooden bit in the earth and write the plant's name on the ivory bit, see? Wait, said Mr. Haddock in a strangely choked voice. Then, turning to me, can you fit Hugh immediately with a size 10 3/4 wig, an outside dress, and size 10 1/2 high-heeled strap shoes? What on earth for? I riposted. Your search is over, he countered. Did you not hear his voice? You have found at last what you need, after listening to 100 high voices. And what is that? I asked, still mystified. A low! Hugh's your lady friend. That's the story. I hope you liked. I might be doing these more often in the future, if you would like. Not necessarily these, you understand. This was just there, so I read it. I've always liked those. Anyway, I would like to know what you lot think of this, or whether we should keep going with this. Nice to see the three of you who turned up. I think if I do it at a regular time every day, people might turn up and watch, and it would be fun. Kit thinks I should make it have pictures like Jack and Nori. Tess, come here. Tess, come on, Tess. I thought you might like to see Tess. Although you won't, because Tess is too low down for the camera. But you can see her. You can see her tail. Tess is here on my lap. For people who Tess's fan club would like to know that Tess is here. Next time, I shall make it so that I can pan down, but unfortunately the camera is stuck on the wall over there. Okay, can you see Tess? Tess, 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 Tess. Tess, I would like you to look at the... No? Okay, this isn't actually part of the program, you understand. This is just that Tess is here. But Tess is very important and would like you to know. Okay, I love you, Tess. Good girl, thank you. So, anyway, hello, Tess. Oh, Tess would like to remind me that this is in fact the Tess show. I love you, Tess, so much. I'm just going to... There we go, just going to angle that down. Tess, come here. Come on, come back. Tess. Tess. She won't do it now. Come on, love. Yeah. See, this is the Tess show. This is much more interesting than me telling a story. Everybody loves Tess, yes? There you are, look, Tess. There you are. Tess is so beautiful, isn't she? Everybody watching, send Tess hearts. Not that she minds, she knows everybody loves her. Yes, I love you, I love you.
There's a lot of lag, by the way, between.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Apparently there's a lot of lag.
Well, you know,
Some.
between you,
Yeah.
you broadcasting and it coming up on the screen.
I see.
I can now see Tess.
Oh my gosh, that's quite a lag. But it has been going for 15 minutes, so
Yes.
so I'm guessing that it's...
Yay for Tess.
Yes. Yes. I want everybody to know that this is the best cat ever, and you should all appreciate her. Because
That's
she
what
does.
Tess made you say.
Because that's what Tess made me say. Yes. Because she controls my brain. I also can't get up to turn this video off. So you're just going to have to wait until Tess moves. But that doesn't matter because you get to admire Tess. And who doesn't love Tess? Nobody. It's like Sarah Lee, isn't it? Nobody doesn't love Tess. I hope I got that the right way around. I love you, Tess, so much. See, can you hear her purring? I don't know. Bring the mic a bit closer. There you go. Purr into that, would you? Yeah? Don't know if you can hear that. Probably can't hear that. Anyway, yeah. So, I will actually stop this at some point when I can actually reach the button, but I cannot because there is a cat. Wisest and fiercest cat of the world. I will instead tell you...
Encourage Tess to come this way.
I will tell you to encourage Tess to go that way. Tess,
Tess.
go north. I can see you've never had a cat. Okay. Tess.
Come on now.
Yep. Thank you. I love you too. I love you, Tess. I love you.
Come on,
Right.
Tess.
Anyway. Yeah,
Tess.
love to everyone, and I will see you soon. Love and hugs. Tess liked being on the video. Yes. See people.